What up, what up, what up? Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday.
Wait a minute.
What?
Wait, hold on.
What?
You just left me there. It's like when you're standing over a ledge and you're about to drop, but then you were like, hold up.
I'm like, happy Tuesday, and that's it.
What happened? What happened?
I like to throw curveballs and make sure you're on your guard.
No! Our listeners are so disappointed right now.
Yeah. Some people are probably going along with it, like, Tuesday, wait. Oh, okay.
They're like, oh, I'm doing this by myself. Now it sounds weird.
Oh, man. What is going on, everyone? I'm Shadell, co-host of Paging the Simpsons. I'm joined by my lovely wife.
Lauren!
Oh, man. Boy.
There, I did my own thing.
I feel like I'm just going to put this out there. If I talk funny, if I sound funny.
You got the Rona?
No. I went to the dentist, and they hurt me. I'm currently going through a lawsuit.
What? That's news to me.
Yo.
That escalated quickly.
Yo, the guy stabbed my tongue, and it hurts. It's been hurting for days, and now I feel like I have a lisp. So if I sound funny, it's because of that.
That stinks. That's like when you burn your tongue on the side, and you keep biting it, or you bite it or you burn it, and then it's a bump, and you keep biting it, and you make it worse, and it just hurts.
Yeah, but he stabbed my tongue.
I know. But I'm just sympathizing.
So I've been doing I did it last time, I feel like way back when I bit my tongue or something. Where I took hydrogen peroxide and swished it around for a little bit.
I remember that.
And then salt water, warm salt water, and did the same thing. And it numbs it for a little bit, and then the pain comes back after a few hours. So gonna try that. Hopefully it heals it. I don't really know what else to do.
Just don't swish with bleach.
Why would I?
Well, it's been a year.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Speaking about it being a year. So again, we're gonna aim to keep it. Well, I shouldn't even say this with this podcast, because there are going to be political topics, but we're not going to go heavy into it. Just kind of giving the surface on these topics that we're going to be covering during this episode. And the first one I want to talk about is an interracial couple that got married in Obama's America, and now under Trump, they feel like their world has shifted. Now, our view is a bit different, of course, because we moved in before Trump was elected.
Yeah, it was that year.
And then got married during his whole thing.
Yeah.
I guess before I get into this, do you feel it? Yeah. I feel like the answer's obvious. But do you feel the difference coming from Obama times to Trump times for our relationship, how that has changed, I guess?
I'll say I guess just because, so we got together in the last 2 years of his presidency. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in the beginning of the relationship, I was still personally adjusting to being in an interracial relationship. So I feel like maybe not as much as if we had been through different presidencies completely. Mm-hmm. Together. I don't know. So I feel like I was more focused on personally adjusting.
Yeah.
Since I had never been in one before versus the injustices and standing up for them and us and you and things like that. That's kind of evolved over time. And so in a weird way, it's evolved with what happened with the presidency.
Yeah.
What about you?
I really, I don't. I feel like if anything, not much has changed, but if anything, it's been more of and I'm sure this probably would have happened. So let's say if Hillary was to be president, maybe, where you would still learn different things about I, I guess like the black culture, for like lack of better words. And just like learning about different things and stuff like that, or watching, a certain documentary, or Central Park 5, that whole like docu-series type of thing came out a year or two ago. So like watching certain things like that, I feel like kind of, I don't know, in this like current world we're in, kind of shaped and like educated you and everything. I mean, outside of that, which I feel like we're still treated the same when we go out to public. No one has like said anything crazy. Of course, we've in the past talked about going to like stores, and you may get like that awkward person or something, and you feel like it's off. But other than that,
yeah, like I feel like our relationship as a whole, like it still is the same. I feel like we're not getting a lot more like looks or weirdness around us than we were before. I feel like it's the same in that regard, but also maybe it's where we live.
True. Now I'm curious. I wonder how like the relationship, like ours is pretty open, because I like to talk about things, and you're like open to talking about it. But I wonder for like certain couples, no matter if it's white and black, or Asian, black, Asian, white, Latino and black or white, whatever the relationship is. I wonder like how those conversations have happened, and if like, Trump being president and people's different views, I wonder how that is like taking a toll on people's marriages.
What if they're like really finding out that the partner can agree with some of his ways or something?
Like for example, like I can think of a couple white friends that would be that are pro Trump and ride for this guy and everything, and I'd like to say their partner like isn't the type to like do that, and since their partner is a bit more submissive and not really the, like in every relationship, how you have like the person that's more open versus the person that's not, if that makes sense. So like the person will just go with the flow with it, even though they don't agree with their views, which is cool. It's no problem. But I'm just curious to know like those relationships where like you're batting heads, because of this like whole election issue and season that we're in.
I think it would be interesting if it is the black and white relationship dynamic, if maybe you are surprised as the black person that the white person you're with maybe agrees with some of his philosophies, or maybe does not see your life for what it is, and like the struggles and things like that. Because I think that's what we went through a few months ago, was who is for acknowledging things that they don't necessarily go through, versus who is just the blanket statement and saying like, well, it doesn't matter because I like everybody, because I think that would make a difference, obviously, to people, because you'd be like, well, so you're not here to actually understand like on a deeper level what me, my family, etc. have gone through or will continue to go through, especially if this presidency continues. So, right, because it's like I have no room to say what is or isn't in that regard. And I feel like some people, still do, even if they don't actually understand. So I think that probably could cause some issues. And that the sad part is, even if you have kids, and like then you find out your partner maybe thinks or sees you a different way, and then now your kid is half.
Yeah.
So.
And to touch on this article here, so of course, because the guy is white and his wife is black, the guy's family they voted for Trump after voting for Obama twice, and now they're going through like this whole like issue where like what's the guy's name? The guy's name is David. On this article I'm reading from the Washington Post, and he's like fighting his father over Trump and how he's handling the Black Lives Matter and racist policing. Because here he is with a black daughter, and like this is an article you can find on the Washington Post, where they have like a clip here. Hopefully the audio is like, audio is blasting in our air.
That scared me.
But it's a clip of like him playing with his daughter, and I don't think we have these issues in our family, or at least won't have these issues when it comes time for us. I'm just trying to pull up this here so you can watch it, but it's just a clip of him playing with his daughter.
Okay.
I'm just giving you an example. Like, damn. Yeah, and it's just it's interesting seeing these families fight each other. There's a TikTok thing back June, July, where this girl was like she was getting attacked by her dad and I think mom also, about this whole Black Lives Matter thing, and nope, about how now the dog's barking. God damn. I'm gonna ignore the dog and we're just gonna continue on. Do you remember this? It was a girl. She was like recording herself, and she had her mom and dad in the background, sitting there like saying, "Oh, black people like do it to themselves and this and that." Like pretty much like trying to.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yes, and she was like riding hard to defend black people. Yes.
And it's like
I remember that, and there were several TikToks like that
where
there's the younger generation is basically calling out the older generation. So I think it's Gen Z against Gen X at that point, maybe.
I just saw,
because it's not boomers anymore at that point.
I saw a live stream of a bunch of Trump supporters like running through with like a huge Trump flag, and it was funny because there was like people that against it, and there's a huge crowd of like young people, and I'm like, yo, I hope you guys are old enough to vote one, and yeah. And to kind of go off on a tangent here, I'm starting to see a lot of people, even if they're not young, like people that seem to be like in their like late 20s to 30s, saying it's the first time voting. And I'm like, damn.
That doesn't surprise me.
Damn.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because I think people are finally understanding what's at stake here. And I think people on both sides honestly feel that way is the thing.
Yeah.
So it's not even just one way. So I do agree. Poll results with early voting are already showing that so many more younger people are showing up.
Yeah, and I saw
AOC
was like, she's getting so many like messages from people saying that they voted and stuff like that. I'm like, man, that's so dope. Like, yeah, we need more people to vote. And I hope what happens is come in 2022 when we have to like vote for the people in like in Congress and stuff like that. That we're voting then too, because again, that matters. Top off to another part of this topic I want to touch on when it comes to these political times is Chelsea Handler and 50. Do you know anything about this?
I didn't know they dated.
Yeah, they did. This is probably back in like 08, 09, somewhere around that ballpark.
I didn't know that.
So 50 came out and he was like, yeah, Biden's gonna up taxes to like 62% or something like that. And
for rich people, like, I can't feel bad for these rich people. Here's the thing. Okay, that's coming from someone who is building a business and trying to make a better life for themselves. Like, I get it. I get wanting to get to a certain degree of wealth and financial freedom and, having more than maybe the average person because you're building businesses or you're building whatever you're doing, stocks, all that. But at the same time, I'm not against, like, if you are over a certain amount of, like, a lot of money, especially on, like, a yearly basis, and, like, you're consistently living in the lap of luxury, I'm not really sad when it comes to the paying extra taxes because, yes, the world would be so much, well, the country would be so much better and different if we did tax the wealthy a lot more and tax the average person less.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I mean, that's a whole other thing we could get into because, of course, they're never going to completely do that because it's not about making more people financially free. Like, you have to control people to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have everybody wealthy. But, like, think about it. You know, say, so if it's 62% for a sick amount of money versus, you know, the 12% or whatever that we would pay, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah. So when 50 did this was the Instagram post he posted. And people were like, it was everywhere.
Oh, so, and it's California. So it's by state.
Yeah.
Interesting. So is it state or federal taxes?
I don't really understand this part.
I'm
not really trying to
Connecticut's
get
not
into the
on there.
tax part.
You got California, Jersey, New York, state, and New York City.
But
Interesting.
But yeah, so everyone was running with this. Every news headline had it, talking about it. They even went as far as, who was it? Eric Trump went and did hold on, let me see if I can pull this up for you.
So is 50 mad he has to do that? Is that what's happening?
No.
So what's happening here?
Oh my god, poor, hold up. Where is it? Here we go. So, okay. I love this. So, 50 goes and makes this post. He's like, yo, WTF, vote for Trump. I'm out. F New York. The Knicks never win anyways. I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people. 62%. Are you out of your effing mind? And since that tweet, everyone went off when he posted it. Everyone's getting on him. There was like a small group of people that are like, yo, we gotta cancel 50. Like, it's all this stuff. And I feel like people don't understand how 50 is, because, dog, at the end of the day, I really feel like he does a lot of things for trolling and just for the fun of it.
I mean, yeah, it seems as much.
And then he goes and like follows up his Instagram post.
Oh my god.
By saying, I just remembered I'm bankrupt, so I'm looking for a gracious loan, so can anyone help a brother out? So 50's just playing around with it, and of course the Trump campaign goes and runs with this, and Eric Trump goes and like posts this picture on Twitter, editing out the hats that they were both wearing, putting Trump on them.
Oh my gosh. Do you really think people aren't going to notice?
Well, yeah, it's pretty obvious. Like,
what?
It was a picture that Ice Cube put up for 50's birthday back in July, saying happy birthday to him, and they just edited it. I'm like,
that is so dumb. That is so dumb.
Oh man. Yeah, I had to share this because, one, I think 50's trolling. Two, you got a lot of money.
Yeah. Like, sure. Okay, maybe 62% is a bit much, but I'm like, if you're really wealthy, like, say you make $1 million a year, and there's people that make way, 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 way more than that. If you make $1 million a year and even half that was taxed, I mean, again, I can't really feel bad because that's still way, 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 way above the average income level.
Here's the thing that I've been hearing a lot, where it's rumored that rich people are going to start transferring their wealth to their younger kids, like putting the real estate and stuff like that in their names, for it to be like less of a financial hit to them.
Well, that's the thing too. So let's be real.
So they'll find out some other way.
When you're a celebrity, you have the best accountants. You're going to find ways to make this better for you. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's always, what is it called?
Loopholes, ways to make it work.
Not loophole, like
ways to game the IRS.
No, it's
ways to not pay Uncle Sam.
Oh my gosh, it's the word with an exemptions. There's always things you can like exempt from your taxes, especially if you're seen as a business. So
okay, You've heard either a possible firework or gunshot outside.
That was not a firework.
We in these dirty streets.
Why was that so loud and close and aggressive?
Streets, but what you're gonna see in a moment
We're in front of a front window.
What you're gonna see in a moment, I mean, who cares? No one's gonna come for you.
Oh my gosh.
What you're gonna see in this moment is your phone blowing up saying, "Yo, I heard gunshots. Oh my god."
Pretty much on the neighbor's app. But yeah, anyways, where I was going with that is they'll find ways to like make it easier on them. I feel like if you have a good accountant, that's what you do with a business.
Yeah.
Like you're obviously not going to pay for more than you have to.
And then, Chelsea Handler for the last 4 years has been like super like, I don't mess with Trump, all that stuff. So she came out recently and was like, I'll pay your taxes in exchange for you coming to your senses. Yeah.
Here's the thing I don't think people realize too. I have to put off everything I make as a small business. I have to put 20 to 30% aside to pay taxes off everything. So that means if I make $100, then $20 to $30 goes towards my taxes. And that's before I even have to pay for all the makeup and all the expenses and advertising and like all the other overhead. And so that's where it frustrates me, because as a small business, we are taxed so much, especially in Connecticut. I know that it could be worse based on like the states you live in, and we are one of the worst. But yeah, so that's where I don't feel as bad, because I pay a lot in taxes just to operate and just to like try and build this thing from the ground up. So yeah. That's my logic, is I'm like, okay, so if a wealthy person is going to pay double that, I'm like.
But 50 Cent, he doesn't want to be 20 Cent. That's not funny?
No.
Oh, my God, that's funny. I mean, my issue is, all right, cool, I get it, you're taxing people. I want to know how the taxes are going to work for companies. Because how's that going to work for, like, Amazon,
yes,
and various other companies that, like, get away with it. And
yes.
I loosely...
Sorry. I was just going to say they were a small business, so they should, again, also pay more taxes.
I loosely understand how they do it, but I feel like they do. I think they... Like, I mentioned this to you before. Since back in, like, 2017 is when they first started making profit. And I believe what Amazon does, they just reinvest the money into themselves. I believe, and that's how they're somehow able to like get out of that whole taxes thing. Don't quote me on it, but that's just what I recall loosely.
Mm-hmm. Like, I just don't think it's unrealistic that the more you make, the more you pay. Like that, it makes sense to me, and therefore, then it should logically take some of the burden off people who make less. So in my mind, that makes sense. I mean, you're still making vastly more.
Yeah.
You're still able to have a lavish house and vacations and whatever you want to do, especially if you're smart with it. So.
Now, this is something I really want to talk about because I love it. I love when the future comes. And I feel like a lot of people are thinking the same way as me. Do you know what that is?
What? Solar. Okay.
So, if you guys are watching the debate this past week with Trump and Joe Biden, hopefully the last debate we have to deal with.
I mean, it is.
Hopefully.
Okay.
One of the sticking points that Trump wanted to make sure everyone heard when Joe Biden said it was him wanting to get rid of oil. And I really think that like he's like oil lobbyists like really like gun home like that, like, yo, we need this, we need like oil, people live with oil, all this stuff, where like the majority of Americans, like, we don't really care about that. We're not, and I get it, in Texas it's different because you may have families that work in oil fields, or like I'm not sure what it would be called, but areas where you get the oil. But even when the governor went and was like, "Hey, you guys heard what Joe Biden said?" The governor of Texas, he wants to get hurt your families and put the oil industry out of business, stuff like that. I'm sitting here reading all the replies from people I would assume are in Texas, at least for the most part. And like a lot of people are down for this because you would think the common sense person is like, yo, we need to hit solar. Do you not see what's happening in the world? Like all the fires, all this stuff, like solar needs to happen. And I feel like it's working out in Joe Biden's favor instead of Trump's favor, with him being so like blatant on what his plan is. Because we need to push electric vehicles, Tesla. We need to push solar, Tesla.
If you've been listening a while, you knew that was coming.
And like there's so many, like for example, I'm gonna get on my Tesla talk because why not? Well, don't look at me like that.
I am surprised.
Dog.
Completely shook.
So imagine the future where you have a roof that is, of course, to protect you from the elements, but also to provide energy to your house.
Yeah, I mean that's the purpose of all solar.
At the same costs of a regular roof or less.
Okay.
I'm not talking about having panels. I'm talking about like it literally looks like a regular roof.
Oh.
Like that's what Tesla has. Like, and I feel like they're pushing on this. And one of the things that Trump said that really didn't make sense to me was the windmills. And are you familiar with like these and what they look like?
Do I know what windmills look like?
I have no idea.
Windmills we like learned about in school.
Do they kill birds?
I don't know. Do they?
Why would it? Okay, unless the bird is dumb,
well,
I wouldn't
that's what
see
I'm
why.
saying. Maybe there's like the occasional bird that just
Yeah, there's an occasional bird that will hit your window because it thinks you can come in. But to say it kills birds, like first off, since when does Trump care about the birds? He doesn't even care about the environment, but he cares about some birds. Care about people. Like, what are we talking about? But here's what I feel like. As someone that's been following like this whole electricity sector, solar sector here, I really do think that moving towards solar, here goes the dog again. Moving towards solar is going to create a lot of jobs because here we go with setting up charging stations everywhere. I don't really understand the whole thing what Joe was saying about like what do you call it, like making current houses more, current buildings, stuff like that, more like energy efficient. I really don't know how that would happen. But like just putting more money into that, because Tesla, their past earnings call, they're sitting there talking like they're trying to scale up and get more people that they can train and be installers and stuff like that. So like the solar and energy wave, that is scaling up. Like we need more people for that. It's going to continue to be a thing. I feel like probably by the time we're dead, you're going to see a lot of people with solar roofs.
I mean, yeah, it's already been becoming more of a thing the past, 10, 20 years with people getting more solar panels.
Because it saves on cost. And especially, for us, as I'm starting to realize, is, I'm starting to see a lot more power outages not happen just in the winter. It's now just happen. We may have a power outage at least one or two times outside of, the winter time, is what I've noticed recently, at least the last few years. So I'm like, if this is gonna happen a few times out of the year, at least you have the backup generator, and then also, you're like, I don't want to talk about this, and then also you're saving on cost because you're using what you get from the sun to fuel your house normally, and then any additional can go back to the grid. And normally, I believe it depends on your provider, but you're able to get money back for energy you push back to the grid for everyone else to use. So yeah, you're like, I don't care about this.
I mean, no, I get it.
So I feel like a lot of people understand this. I couldn't imagine anyone except for an old person that it's like the coal industry. I can't. Only if you were, had family working in the coal industry would you care that we're switching to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts, feelings?
I mean, it all makes sense.
Are you ready for this future?
Sure.
Man, you really don't care about this. You don't care about the future?
I get it, though. It makes sense.
Bro.
It's just, I'm neutral on it. I'm not super uber excited, but yeah.
Bro. In the near future, once I get my Tesla, we will be able to not have to drive it. It will drive us.
Wait, now we were talking about solar.
Now I'm just talking about, well, that's another thing with Biden's thing. It's also going to push electric vehicles, and that's going to happen anyways.
We're aware.
But again, the oil industry would be like, no, you need your gas car. But electric cars are more efficient. I'm not sitting here going for oil changes. I'm not sitting here going for brake changes. I'm not going for all these things that we have to deal with when you have an electric vehicle. Mm-hmm. You're sitting here like, I don't want to talk about it, but dog, I am hyped.
Because I hear this all day, every day. You
man.
guys don't understand.
Man, I'm getting turned on talk. Let me
Pretty much. Pretty much. That's what it sounds like all the time.
If you don't get anything from this conversation, just know.
Electric cars, turn them on.
And I'm looking forward to that stock price going up. Haven't talked about my investment stuff lately, but maybe that's for the future. Maybe later this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate you. I hate you so much. Okay. We're zooming through this, shockingly.
Zoom.
Damn, 30 minutes in and we're probably going to wrap up. That's wild. That's never happened.
Yeah, it has.
Oh. Well, bro, I want to talk about this relationship topic with you. So this one is about a 35-year-old female that caught her boyfriend, who's a 28-year-old male, masturbating to nude pictures of herself. That's when you know you love your body way too much. So, she goes on to say, well, this is just extremely bizarre to me, but last night he was on his laptop in the dark in the bedroom, so I jumped on the bed and said, what you doing?
Oh, that's awkward.
And lo and behold, on his computer screen were nudes he took of himself when he was in better shape and had a much better body than he does now. And he was jerking off to the old photos of himself. He was extremely embarrassed that I saw him and quickly closed the laptop and rolled over and went to sleep.
My man, why aren't you locking the door when you're doing this anyway? Could you imagine if she jumped on the wrong way? Ooh. Exactly. Ooh. Exactly.
Man, those pictures have to been,
spicy.
Before quarantine.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Before the quarantine 15 happened.
Pretty much.
She goes on to say, anyways, I want to talk to him about it and find out what exactly is going on because I find it strange to wink to pictures of yourself. But when I tried to inquire about his choice in material, so to speak, he completely shut me down and refused to talk. Should I press him for an explanation or let it go? What are your thoughts?
Oh, no, I'm torn. Because, you're supposed to love yourself. And I don't know, I think maybe he's going through it because maybe if he was a lot more in shape back then, I don't know. It's yes, it sounds weird, but at the same time, I mean, he's not jerking off to children's photos, So it could be much worse. I don't know.
That's
yes,
extreme.
it's different. I think the main thing she may be concerned of is if maybe he is not just completely straight because it's of himself, which is a man, instead of other women, which is she's with him, and maybe there's the insecurity. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think? I'm
thinking I'm with you a little bit. I'm okay. I think two things. One, it could just be a thing where he heard she was coming and he throw up these pictures of myself and close out the screen he had.
That's true.
To think I was jerking
That's
off
true.
pictures of me. which is a weird thing to just throw
Well,
up
maybe
and, like,
that's all
do.
you had in like that split second. You know what I mean?
But yeah, that's one
true.
thing. But of course, the next one is like, if let's say that wasn't the case, then yeah, it could possibly be gay. Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but then being in your relationship and then having to tell that to your girlfriend, it's another issue of like, what is she gonna think? What is she
Well,
gonna?
right. Is she open to? Yeah.
How's she gonna take it? She's gonna be like, what does this mean for like our
Right.
relationship?
Right. It's just a conversation.
I
So,
would
I don't know.
say I wouldn't push it. I kind of feel like it's personal. Like if they don't want to tell me, I would wait.
And I feel like you raise a good point. I didn't even think of that.
What?
That it could just be like that's what he popped up.
Yeah, sure.
Just because, yeah. I mean, because, yeah, if you had nothing else, it's just weird. At least it wasn't like, a cat or a child or something.
Okay, you go to some extremes.
I'm
I'm just thinking it's the
no,
regular point.
Because
like,
I'm being serious. Like, what if, so what if he just tried to pull up a random picture that was in his, like, pictures on his laptop and you guys have a cat or something? And, like, that came up instead of him? Like, then it would just be even weirder.
Okay, you're a weirdo.
I'm just saying, it could have been worse.
It could be worse. It could have been this.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, if that happened,
It's one of those that, like, when you say it out loud, it sounds really weird, but maybe it's not as weird as it's, reading.
I would not
So.
press him on this. I'll let it go. Like, it doesn't. I mean, what someone wants to do with their body is like, that's up to you. Like, whatever. That's how I play everything, because it's like, it doesn't affect me in any way, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just how I operate.
I'm like, damn, though, you threw him under the bus with, like, being like, his body was much better than it is now. I'm like, dang. Like, okay.
And let's say that is the case.
It.
Where he was, like, liking himself and it kind of turned him on or something like that. I mean, maybe he wants to get back to that body and set up something where you can work out together or go for a walk or something. Maybe it
turns him on because it turns you on.
That sounds like a reach.
Okay.
But that's kind of what I'm playing it by. We have another relationship topic, but we're gonna skip that one.
No, it's weird. It's a weird one.
Can I ask the listeners?
No.
Why not?
Because it's a weird one.
But it's just asking. It's not like we're giving input.
No, it's weird.
Dog, I'm asking.
No, we're not going to do that. No. I'm gonna mute your mic like they promised to do in the debate, and then they didn't.
This is pretty much all we got. This is probably the shortest podcast we've ever had.
Yeah, I feel like 45 minutes we at least try to do.
I will say, as some closing comments, guys, I hope everyone is registered to vote. And I know a lot of people are early voting. If you aren't one of those people, I hope that you do go to vote November 3rd.
Yeah, we're going in person. Which I feel like we're one of the only people out of all the people I know, because all I'm seeing is people like take their ballots and like put them in the ballot box, and I'm like, Are we like the only people that are going in person?
Be in and out. Like,
I hope so. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
because then did you hear? There's some places that like if you're not wearing a mask, like some places will actually move those people up further to get them out, and it'll like entice people to not wear a mask.
Yeah, I don't believe that. That makes no sense.
But then there's others who are gonna have like two different lines.
Where's that at? Texas?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know
what?
Where
That makes no sense. It better not happen in Connecticut. You can get fined now.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
That wouldn't happen here.
That
it
is
depends
true.
On what state. Like, we don't rock
because
like
the thing is that they can't deny you your right to vote if you don't have a mask on.
Bro, we gonna find you. Oh God, this I think our food is here with how this dog is barking.
Probably.
But yeah, I hope everyone is registered to vote, and I hope you are going to be voting come November 3rd. Yeah. I would like to say that you should vote for a certain person, and I think we all know who that person is, but I won't get to that point. I just want life to go back to something that's relatively normal and not having to worry about everything the president has to tweet about.
Besides that, did you guys know we had a Etsy shop?
I hate that you just cut me off like that. Okay. That's great.
Because, like, they get it. They get it.
No. I mean, if you listen to this podcast, I hope you get it. But, yeah.
But, yeah, we're going to be releasing holiday stuff soon. So look out for that.
That's news to me.
And, yeah, we got some limited stuff that's probably exiting the shop soon. So if you're still interested in, like, holiday fall stuff, check it out. Because we're probably going to take that down after, like, Halloween-ish. And, yeah, so check it out.
Yeah.
Good Feeling Apparel.
Check that out. Link in the description. With that being said, guys, make America blue again.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Not to be that person. That sounds just as nauseating as Blue Lives Matter, though, because it's just flipping something that already exists and trying to make it your own.
That's great.
Like,
Blue Wave.
Okay.
I want my stimulus money. It's been months.
I want another PPP program. Like, I'm about to go into a really slow season.
You better go into a recession of your own.
Thanks. That's totally not nauseating for me.
Okay, I'm gonna have this. Guys, if you made this far, thank you. Once again, I'm Shadell, co-host of Paging the Simpsons. I'm joined by my lovely, soon-to-be in a recession wife.
That's rude. Lauren. That's very rude.
And we will see you guys. The next time we put out the podcast, is that going to be the week before the election, the day before?
That's going to be the day of the election.
Man. Well, guys, should be interesting.
We'll see you on election day.
Peace out.
Bye.